Today, we have a fun little craft using jumbo clothespins. Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel, friends. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly appreciate it. In a recent video, I shared some jumbo clothespins that I hauled from the Dollar Tree. We are going to use them today on the sweetest little project. So I'm going to flip to my overhead camera to give you a closer look. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. All right, y'all, so here's a closer look at those jumbo clothespins from the Dollar Tree. They are approximately 6 inches long and at the widest point about 7/8 of an inch wide. So these are very large and very sturdy. How would I use these? There are several ways that we can use them. Today I'm going to do one way. I will do another way in an upcoming video, but today we're just going to focus on one way because it's a multi-part project and I want us to be able to do this whole project together. So what I have here is a box with a clothespin in it as well as some note cards. Now you can also put photographs on this because here's how this is going to work. So I have this stuck here on the inside using some of my repositionable tape, and I wrapped it around this and slid this in it so that I would not damage the paper here, even though that repositionable tape does not seem to be damaging papers at all. And then here, I also have some repositionable tape. This is just a box to elevate my cards or my photos if that's what I choose to put in here. But I'm just going to take one out to show you what I was thinking. So if you have a photo and you want to have it out, why not just clip it in here? And now you can stand this up. I'm going to turn it around so that you can see that in picture. I think it's a really cute little idea. Then we have an acetate lid for this project so that you can see what's on the inside. I have gray washed the outside of the clothespin to take away some of that natural color and to have it play in with the colors of the paper that I chose to use. But I just think that this is such a cute little idea, and I think we're going to have fun making these. And I also think that this is a great gift as well as a potential great craft fair seller. So you never know how something's going to sell until you put a couple of them out and you see if there is some interest. So I'm going to take this and we're just going to put it back in the box. So I'll just slide this into this piece. I have this little box inside with repositionable tape as well because I wanted everything to remain nice and neat. I'm going to take this one and put it back in the pack. And how many of these you choose to put in is completely up to you, but I do have repositionable tape on the back here. And now I can take that acetate lid and put it back on top. Then we can tie this off with a bow, or we can add tape to the bottom to hold it in place. Y'all know me. I think it's a cute gift. I think it's a fun gift, but I also think it's practical because if we want a cute and novel way of displaying photos, this is one of those cute ways. Or if you want to make this a note stand, you can do that as well. Here's what we're going to need to make it. So I have a sheet of acetate and I will be cutting it. I start with a 12 by 12 sheet because that's the size that I purchased, and I will need to cut it. Then I have printed out 3 sheets of 12 by 12, and I'm going with that plaid print again. Then I'm going to be using the pumpkin paper to cover the clothespin. And then I have a sheet of white that I'll be using to create my little decorative note card. So how you do this is completely up to you, but this is what I'm starting with. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cover the clothespin. So I am just going to remove this price tag. Y'all, it's still $1.25. And I think that's a pretty good deal for these jumbo clothespins. So now I'm just going to take my tape And I'm going to place tape on this end and on this end. Simply doing tape on opposite sides of that. So I'm using my narrow tape. So I'm going to put down 3 pieces. And this is the project that I'm making today. So as I said, I have a couple of other projects that I'm working on, but I wanted to keep this one short. So I'm sure a lot of you might leave comments. Just know that I do have some other projects that I'm working on, and your comments that you leave might actually be some of the projects that I'm working on. So let's do that one. So now we have our tape on both sides. I am just going to take my finger blade and just cut out 2 strips that might have imaging on it that I want. And I found that the thinner my paper, the better this actually works. So what I'm going to do with my paper is I'm going to take it and position it where I want my image to be. So I'm just going to play around with the various papers that I have because I want some imaging down here, but I also want some imaging up here at the top. So I think this is going to be the first one that I work with. So I'm going to peel away my tape backers from the bottom half only. Then I'm just going to take this and just put it down, hoping that I'm getting a good amount of that paper. So I didn't put anything here yet, and there was a reason for that. I want to go ahead and just trim out along the side here to remove my excess paper. And y'all, I am going to be adding some paint to this, but I'll be adding that paint after I put down the paper because I like the way that the paint actually stained the edges of the paper. So now it's a little bit difficult to get in there with my finger blade from behind. So I am just going in like this and I'll cut. Now you can go along the edges of this with a nail file. I'm not going to be doing that. But what I am going to do is I am going to take my ruler and just find that separation point and just go in with my ruler like that. And then I'll take my finger blade now that I know where to start cutting in. And I'm just going to cut in like this. And I'll remove that little piece because we're going to put that piece on the top. Now I can take my ruler and just sort of go along. I can also take my finger blade, go in to press that in, and I'm just using the back of the finger blade, not the pointy side, to get that pressed in. So now we're going to remove this tape. And I'll take this piece and then I'm just going to put it right there. And if I have any overhang, which I do, I'm going to trim away. So now again, I'll use the back of my finger blade just to go in, get everything nice and stuck. And then I can use the cork backing of my ruler just to go in and smooth everything out without scratching my paper. Isn't that gorgeous? We're going to do the same thing on the back side. So we do want our clothespin to be covered front and back. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to place it down like this. So again, I'll use my finger blade just to go in, remove this excess. And then it's a little hard to get in here with my finger blade on the outside. I'm just going to go in and very carefully make little passes with that blade so that I can pull away. And don't worry about that if it's showing, because once we paint, that's going to clear up a lot of the imperfections that you might have. So now I'm going to take my ruler again, and basically you see that little divot there? I'm taking my ruler and just pressing in on that, because that is where I'll take my finger blade and go in and cut. So I am just going to cutting to remove that piece. And then I will peel away my backers. And we'll take this piece and put it down right there. Don't really see any that I need to remove, and I'll get everything nice and stuck. So that is how easy it is to cover your clothespin. Now I'm not covering anything here. I'm not even painting in here. I'll be painting on the outside all the way around. You can paint yours on the inside if you want, but for me, I'm going to leave this just as it is. I have this Deco Art Chalky Finish paint. I'm just going to put a little bit on my paper. That might have been too much. Definitely too much. But I have a foam brush here. And I'm not going to be overly neat about how I do this, because I discovered that I actually like how that gray paint looks along the edge. So I am just painting. And I'm even going to go over the metal part. I'm not going to worry about that. And I am adding my paint. And you can see how that's giving me a nice little border. So then I'll do it on this side. This is a very quick process, y'all. This isn't anything that you have to do. You can leave yours in your natural state. You can do it however you want. If you have an idea that you want to try that I'm not doing here, go ahead and give your idea a try, because I don't know if what you're thinking will work because I haven't done it. But by doing it, you'll definitely be able to know if that is an idea that you want to do. So now I'm going to do here, making sure that I get that nice and covered. So that's it. That's all we do to this. If you want to go on the inside, you can. I'm not. I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to set that to the side to let it dry. So now I'm going to bring in my 12 by 12 sheet, and we're going to make the box. Now, when I print my 12 by 12 digitals, I have a white border around the edge. I'm okay with that white border being around the edge when I need the full 12 by 12. In this case, I don't need the full 12 by 12, so I'm going to remove the white border because I need a piece that is 10 1/4 by 11 1/4. And then we are going to score at 1 1/4 and at 2 1/2 on all four sides. So that's 1 1/4 and 2 1/2 on all four sides. And then we're going to fold and burnish all of our scores. So now we're going to remove the 3 corner pieces on all four sides. So we'll go up to the second score mark. We cut straight down. Then we angle in. We go to the second square mark and angle here, angle here, and then we can reduce this in size like that. So again, you go up to that second square mark and drag straight down. Then you angle. Go to the second square mark and angle as you're cutting down. Angle here and reduce. Then I'm going to go ahead and just angle this outside piece because that's going to make it easier to fold in. I don't need to do that on these pieces because we're angling as we're cutting the tabs. So again, we go up to the second square mark, cut straight down. Let's angle. Go to the second square mark, angle as you're cutting down. Angle here and reduce. Then I'll go ahead and just angle this outer piece. Let's go to the second square mark, cut straight down the middle. Let's angle, 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 and reduce. And now I can angle here on this piece. And now we're going to take this and we're going to put it together. So I am going to put my box together with glue. I'll put my glue on my 4 tabs. And now I'll take this, smush it around in the glue, and make sure that I have nice, tight, and crisp corners. Go in and just stick that a little bit. We'll do the same thing here. Let's smush it around in the glue. Getting those corners nice, tight, and crisp. Then I'm going to fold these backwards. I'm going to add some glue to these pieces, and then we fold them in and we stick them. So we just fold over, getting that nice and stuck. Get that nice and stuck. And there is our box. So now we can take this and put it in to make sure that it's going to fit, and it does. So then I want to take this piece and I'm going to make a little box for the inside. It won't hold anything, it's just a little platform so that we can put our cards on top. This is optional. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. As a matter of fact, all of it is optional. But if you want to raise this to reduce the amount of cards that you put in here, the platform actually helps with that. So we need a piece that is 9.5 by 7.5. Again, I can remove these white strips. So we're going to cut at 9.5 by 7.5. On the 9.5 inch side, we score at 3/4 of an inch, at 4 3/8, at 5 1/8, and at 8 3/4. So those measures, so those scores again: 3/4 of an inch, 4 3/8, 5 1/8, and 8 3/4. Then on the 7.5 inch side, we score at 3/4 of an inch and at 6 3/4. Again, we're going to take this and let's just fold and burnish all of our scores. Now remember, this is not a functioning box that we will be filling with anything. We're just using this box to make a platform. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Then here in the middle, I'll go to the score mark and cut down and angle in, cut down and angle in, flip it, cut down, angle in, cut down, and angle in. Then on one end, I am just going to cut and remove both corner pieces. So this is how we look so far. Then on this end, I am just going to angle on the score mark. So let's just angle on the score mark to free the tab. So now we're going to put this together. This is going to be the adhesive flap. We will simply put it together like this. So let's go ahead and place some glue on the adhesive flap. This is a non-functioning box, so you can actually use tape if you want. I'm using glue because I normally use glue whenever I'm making a box. So we're just going to get that stuck there. I'll flat fold it, get it nice and stuck. Then all we're going to do is we're just going to fold these in. And like I said, we're going to seal the box closed. So I'll take this piece, and then I'll take this piece, and we're sealing the box closed completely. Let's take this, fold in, fold over, fold over. And now we have a nice little platform that will go inside the box like that. I'm going to go ahead and take some of my repositionable tape, put some of that tape on the bottom to hold this in place. Again, optional part of the process, not anything that you have to do. It's just what I thought would be nice to hold everything in place so nothing is moving around and flopping around inside the box. All right, so now let's make those decorative either photo mats or note cards, however you want to use them, completely up to you. And for those of you who are interested, this paper that I'm using today is available on my website. So I am going to just remove the white strip. And I'm just going to make a couple with you. But however many you want to put in yours, it's completely up to you. But I am going to cut this at 6 by 3 3/4. Let's see, 3 3/4. Let's see if I have one more 3 3/4 in me. I do. So let's go ahead and cut. Since I cut out 3 mats, I'll go ahead and make the 3. So now I'm going to take my white paper and I am going to cut it at 5 1/2. By 3 1/4. And I'm going to cut out 3 of these. So 5 1/2 by 3 1/4. This is really easy peasy, y'all. We're not doing anything overly fancy, but it's cute and it's useful. So now I'm going to take my tape runner, add some tape to the backs of these. Even though I'm using a pumpkin theme on this, y'all, I'm stuck on pumpkins right now. But you can theme yours however you like. So I am just going to take this white paper, put it down like that, made a very quick decorative mat for either note card or photo. And we'll put that one right there. We now have our 3 mats. I'm going to take this out so that you can see we have our mats. See how cute that is? I'll stand it up so that you can see it there. Super duper cute. And you just saw how easy it was. So I'm going to take this and put it back in. I'm going to take these, take this strip that I had left over, and we can take this and wrap it around as a little belly band. So let's just take it, wrap it to the back. I am going to trim away a little bit of this because that's too much. So now I'll take a little bit of my glue, put some glue there, and some glue right there. And let's get that stuck. So now when we take these, we can put them in like this. You can see how our sweet little set is coming together. I am going to make an acetate lid, but acetate is very hard to show you on camera. So I'm going to use a sheet of white paper. We're going to cut that white paper at 8 3/8 by 7 3/8. And we're just pretending that this is our acetate. So if you're doing acetate, you're going to cut the acetate at 7 3/8 by 8 3/8. And you're going to score at 1 on all 4 sides. So we're scoring at 1 on all 4 sides. Then I'll fold and burnish all of my scores. I'll go to the score mark, cut down an angle. Cut down an angle. Cut down an angle. Cut down an angle. And then the way that I put this one together was with mini brads. So all you have to do if you're working with that acetate is bring in your mini brads. A little paper piercer. Pierce a hole and insert the brad. And this will act as the way that you will hold your box together. So now that we have our lid, we can take the lid and put it on the box like this. This is how your acetate lid is going to fit on your box. So if you don't want to use acetate, you can just take a piece of paper using the same measurements and create a lid for yours. All right, so here is my acetate lid. Let's go ahead and put it on. Now I'm going to remove this because I want to make sure that my items stay in place. I don't want them just flopping all over the place. So I am going to take some scrap paper and I'm going to put that paper on like this. Let's go ahead and cut it. I'll add just a little bit of glue to the strap. I'm not putting any glue on my clothespin. It's only on this little band that'll slide on and off. But we need to give that a moment to dry. Then I can take just a little bit of my repositionable tape, and I've put some right there. Hopefully you can see that. And now I can take this and we can put it in like this and then press down to get it stuck. And you see how that's in place, so that looks nice and neat. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to take my repositionable tape, put it on the back of my band like that. And so then we can take it and we can put it in the box like that. And we have a nice presentation. Everything is nice and neat. We can take that lid, put it on like that. You can see where I closed everything using mini brads. I am just going to go ahead and fussy cut out one of these pumpkins very quickly using the wrong scissors for this, but it will get the job done. So I'm just going to cut this out so that we can have something cute to put down on our little band here. And I am just going to take some glue, place some glue right there, take this nice little fussy cut piece and place it right there. Cute! And then we can place our lid on. So y'all, all we did was we took a giant clothespin, plain, and we turned it into this. I'm going to take one out, take a card, put it in like that. Now, isn't this just fabulous? Y'all, I think that it is. We took that plain old giant clothespin and we turned it into a beautifully decorated clothespin, and then we created these photo mats or note cards that you can set out like this. Y'all, I absolutely love it, and I think that you will too. So if you get a chance to, grab some of those large wooden clothespins from the Dollar Tree and make a few of these. If you're doing a craft fair, why not make up a couple of these just to see if there's any interest? Even if you don't want to make the little holders, why not just decorate some of these large giant clothespins and see if there's interest in that as well. I hope that you have enjoyed today's super awesome way to make use of one of the wooden clothespins from the Dollar Tree or some other store where they may sell these as well. If you have enjoyed this video, and I certainly hope that you have, please hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, all day, every day, this is what we do, and this is how we do it, and I would love to have you subscribe. So hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you will know when I upload a new video. As always, my beautiful handcrafty friends, please be safe, be kind, and be the reason someone smiles today. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.